Hello everyone, my name is Srijan and I'm from AI Tech Park. Today we're going to talk about what is an MVP. The MVP concept is first introduced by Eric Ries in his Lean Startup book. An MVP, or a minimum viable product, is a product that can be called minimally viable if it has some features to be validated within the market and brings the core features for early adopters. Basically, an MVP is an alpha or a test version of your product or service that only consists of the core features, with the purpose of getting feedback from the users. To further understand what is an MVP, let's take this picture drawn by Henrik Knieberg about the Agile methodology and the Lean Startup method. This picture is an analogy of product development by using a car. So let's dive right into this. The first row describes a not like this, where this is the agile method where we release parts of the full product. This method is highly discouraged. Why? For example, in the first iteration, we give the user a front tire. Imagine the displeasure of the end user when he sees this. The front tire isn't the product he or she wanted, because how does a person use a front tire? The end user wanted a car, and the thing that we gave him was not a car. Please also keep in mind that this is a general analogy describing product development and not actually developing a car. It's just product development. With that confirmed, let's go back to the story. In the following iterations, the customer is still very angry because he can't really use these half-baked products. Finally, at the last iteration, the customer finally got what he wanted and is very happy that he got his car. But this product is most likely full of design flaws and unwanted features. Surely this method has an iterative and incremental process, but the lack of a feedback loop between the producer and the end user will cause dissatisfaction from the end user because of the incorrect assumptions of the developer. Next, let's look at the like this. In the second row, we have the same context as previously. The customer ordered a car. But as you can see, the approach that we took here is way more different than not like this. This time, instead of building a car, we identify the underlying need of the end user than just building a car. And we found out that the need was actually traveling from point A to point B faster. The team will develop the simplest thing in order to tackle the underlying need, and we'll receive additional feedback from the user later. Now this is our MVP. In this case, our MVP is the skateboard that you see right here. The user most likely will not be satisfied by this because it's not a car that he wanted. But our main goal here is to learn. Ideally, the team can tell this to the end user so that he isn't too disappointed. And compared to the front tire, this product is much better because it helps the user to get from point A to point B much quicker. This is better than nothing. We can tell the end user that this is the first iteration of many and we're still planning to build a car. But at this point, please just give us as much feedback as possible. We might learn something surprising, like whether the end user hates the skateboard just because he doesn't like the color. In this case, we can maybe give some color options to the user. Or maybe we can give the user a bus ticket for testing. Probably not, but the key question here is what is the cheapest and fastest way to learn about the problem? Now let's go back to the first iteration where the end user is saying that the skateboard we made is okay. It goes around the building and it gets to the coffee machine quite quickly. But it's not stable, he just keeps falling off. So in the second iteration we try to solve the problem. Here we have a skateboard but with a handle. This is still not exactly but what he wanted, but he's still actively using this product and providing feedback. And he says it's harder to travel long distances, such as between buildings. So in the next iteration, we improve this model into something more of a bicycle. Now, we learn something along the way as we proceed. The end user likes the feeling of fresh air on his face. Let's say the end user is in a campus and transport on the campus mostly involves moving around buildings. So the bicycle may actually be a better product than the car. And the paths are narrower anyway. But you may be asking this. Shouldn't we expecting this when we have done the upfront analysis? Well, yes, we will be expecting it. But you will still be surprised on what you will discover when you put your product in the hands of real people and in real scenarios. Now let's say we get some new feedback that the user cannot use this product in order to go out of the campus and to the next city. Using a bicycle to go a distance that long can take a lot of time and gets a little sweaty. So in this iteration, we can implement an engine. This solves most of the problem and may turn out to be better than a car. Most products have a lot of features that don't be used by the end user. By doing this iterative and incremental process, we can optimize our resources and find the cheapest and fastest way to solve the end user's problem. Now let's say the end user gives us some more feedback saying that I'm scared of falling over again, much less on a very speedy vehicle like a motorbike. And in this case, we may end up with the car as planned. But this time, we end up with a better car because previously we had known that the user liked the feeling of fresh air in his face. So we end up with a convertible. The end user is overjoyed at his new car. At last, he did end up with a car. But since we have learned along the way, he got a better car than previously anticipated. To summarize, when you build an MVP, it helps you to know the balance between the company's offer and the customer's need. Through cycles of testing, this will help you to minimize errors and optimize your ideas during the development process. It helps startups to validate their opportunity hypothesis and get a green light for developing a full-fledged product. Now that is it for what is an MVP. If you have any questions or further inquiries, you can contact us at ram@aitechpark.com or phone or WhatsApp us at 017-472-3528. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video and see you next time.